Energetic cleansing meditation. This immersion is for the season of Chiron, Virgo season, the inner healer of reality. During this energetic sweeping, we will be cleansing the wounds of our reality, the energy body, and more. Save your spot. The next live meditation is on Sunday, September 4th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Save your spot at club.tanyad.tv/energetic hyphen.
Inshallah and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. It is a Musing Monday. Super excited about that. So what flows in our flows back. What does that sound like? The tides have changed. The rivers are streaming. It's similar to a karmic circle, both positive or negative. It's like what you send out returns to sender, right? If you're the sender, and being on shaky or unstable ground, you may notice the cracks in your foundation, whether it's physical or otherworldly, mental, emotional, etc. But the key is to really fill in all the cracks, all those holes with love, peace, joy, happiness, to all be returned beyond the fold. And just remember, things happen for us, not to us. So you may be at a crossroads, feeling our feelings. Sometimes they're not even ours to feel, and moving into believing what we feel from the heart, the chalice. This really is the long pour. It always reminds me of Johnny Depp, just saying. But the Congress of the Queen, who's at the foundation. So with that, welcome to the Daily Snippet. Once again, I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic shaman and medium, an otherworldly life coach, a subtle energetic surgeon, but I do go by the term holistic Sha medium. My intention is to utilize the power of these indigenous technologies, our original divine blueprint, with the elemental realms to navigate our soul's harmonic through these realms, whether it's elemental, imaginal, through the gateway of the shamanic portal, the 8th energetic center, the cosmos, subtle energies and frequencies, and really so much more, with offerings, prescriptions, and rituals to really bring us back to our original divine blueprint and the main stage ingredient in our personal container, your personal medicine, the prime directive, just assisting you in discovering your personal medicine, your inner genius, the star that I truly believe we all are, just reintroducing you to that magical essence that resides within us, so you shine even brighter. My name is Tanya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. So today is this transformative, innovative stage of our personal love story, of where our love ultimately belongs. It possibly may be intense. Maybe you're missing a leg on the table and it's falling over. But we have the law of attraction, that magnetic wheel where two magnets literally come together or they repel. Except this is with our feelings, the ingredients of our feelings. They're either going to merge into a sauce that blends and tastes amazing, or these ingredients are going to turn the sauce into something that breaks the soup bowl, meaning definitely no blending there, tastes beyond disgusting, or a breakdown of some kind. So it's a day to be led by our heart and experience our feelings around or within relationships, situations, events, even our future gates and plans into that starry, starry night, and allowing the experience of what you feel to lead you to an outcome that you are wholeheartedly attracted to. It's going to feel greater than good, feeling like a specific outcome, a specific future, like you can see it, you can taste it, you can feel it. Or it may be the innovator to show you where your heart no longer belongs in this container, this feeling, this sensation. In an outcome, maybe relationships are ending. I'm seeing that. And the universe gives us the understanding, the learning of why our heart really doesn't belong in that space or place anymore. And it's totally okay. There's always magic on the other side. It's when we suddenly realize the experience that you've been experiencing with a situation, person, place, thing, event, whatever, that makes you feel heartfelt that you don't belong there anymore. It's inappropriate, maybe it's not aligned with your heart's best interest, your frequency, your vibration, or you have this self-realization that you've literally outgrown a space or a situation, event, whatever. But the longest pour of love is really the ingredient that we are expanding in our life, and we're entering this greater than love story ever before within ourselves, and we share that into the outer world. It's a reflection and it comes back to us. So you don't need to ask yourself some questions, however, continually beyond this is this me or is this them? It's a different frequency. You're just going to know it. It's a feeling. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Heartfelt Authentically, like nature, please do. Tanya D. And again, a shout out to my new subscribers all over the platforms. Thank you so much. Blessings and Ahhhh. Everything is growing, expanding, light, right? So go ahead and hit the bell button so you too are notified. And a comment or a share will get you a message for your day to get you on your way. Just echoing out that YouTube algorithm to other like-minded musers in the universe who may also muse about insights of the other world, the world of spirit, nature, source, the beings that are otherworldly, elemental, and so much more, really. You could also find me on other social platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, my Musing with Tanya D podcast, which we have a new one out the gate today, if you've subscribed to my Musing newsletter. And if your soul, authentically heartfelt, wishes to dive on deeper into the realms of the other world, the world of spirit, head on over to my Musing corridor. This is my digital library in the sky. It's a venue where you have some amazing options to really assist you, to guide you. A private sacred circle, a community, a village to utilize as well. I really am your shamanic otherworldly assistant. You truly are your own healer, but you know, sometimes we do need an otherworldly perspective to see what's going on, insights of the other world, right? And just a few announcements as always, and hang on to that Musing Monday. I'm just telling you, it's coming up later in the cards. Options for the card pull. But a cowrie shell divinations, why? You know, it's an art of indigenous divining. It's my one-on-one sessions to meet with the otherworldly congress, whether that's a spirit, an ancestor, the keepers of the earth, shrines, the water, keepers of the wild, the realms, and the mountains. And rituals. Rituals are then performed to address the symptoms, the forces of adversity, and what's prescribed in order to shift what's in the way, blocking you from living your inner genius, your purpose, your personal medicine. And again, my Musing with Tanya D podcast is out. I kind of dived into the Hopi prophecy, not sure why, and then it kind of became clear. It's just a short podcast, something to muse about the modernity where it's turning, the Earth Mother is responding. We're seeing this all over. And you can also participate in the next meditation for the season of Virgo. That's held always the first Sundays of the month. This one's the month of September, September 4th. And also, I have the wait list for the next opening of A Witcher's Way to Manifestation. All the links are in the show notes for what your heart is calling for. So on the elemental highway, what do we have here? We have a young metal rat of a day, a Geng Z. So this is a very outward kind of moving day, except for the rat. The rat is a yin energy, so this is our inner waters. So we have a blend of yin and yang of the water, but metal, yang metal, and the yang monkey. Not quite solid, but kind of solid. So the monkey month represents the beginning of fall, the season of autumn. So we're kind of in that already. There is, you know, metal is getting stronger in the season, and the metal element is prosperous in this month, while the water is growing, getting activated. So the yang metal is very strong because it's rooted in the month. But what else is curious if you don't understand the elementals? I work with an elemental energetic skincare line. So the season of the fall is also skin that is dry. It's more white, more aesthetic, I should say, estheticians. It's all about decision making, stuff like that, people born in this season. But it's dry skin that needs minerals, oxygenation, breath work, all of those things. For those of you that don't know, I do have that, which is totally works, just saying out loud. But yin fire is very much needed for our day to forge the strong metal, making our day useful. And the yang wood in the tiger, that's also needed to keep the metal busy, kind of like pruning the tree. But without yin fire, our day, it's not going to work. So we need all three of those elements for our day to become functional. But fire literally is our main stage element. So it's like going to our ancestors, doing an offering to the mountain or an old wise tree. So it's like, when was the last time you visited your ancestors who've arrived into the earth, right? gone to a cemetery, or you have a shrine, an altar where you visit the spirits of the other world. We kind of have forgotten the ways of the origin, connecting to spirit, whatever that is for each and every one of us. And we wonder what is happening as the earth is turning. So fire is definitely needed to warm up our day. Fire is spirit. It is source. It could be a candle. It could be an outdoor cookout in a safe, contained space, of course. Hot dogs, s'mores, connecting with the frequency of fire. Red. You could add some red to your wardrobe. Fiery essential oils. I love ylang. That's kind of what I would go for. But as far as the month, we have the poet. That's our neighboring god. This is positioned in the month pillar or the month stem, which means it has this influence on our careers. That's where that frequency comes from. But it's reached its limit to our local or our national area, like our environment. So if it becomes or combines with the year stem, then the range actually becomes global. But poets are attuned to their inner feelings, which I find the frequency of the cosmos today and feelings today in the elemental is totally online. But this is more of a sensitive nature, being able to express your emotions, whether it's through songwriting, poetry. It always reminds me of the ballads and the Witcher series, not my manifestation series, but you could use it that way too. Affirmations, stuff like that, writing. Where our year stem, that super god, influences our family lineage. It is our ancestors. And that reach is international, it's global, it's beyond our neighboring village, I guess. That means if this was a person, that they really have the potential to use these specific talents internationally and globally, maybe even otherworldly, really. So an artist represents extraordinary artistic skills. This is fine taste for luxury dining, fine foods, aesthetics of fine cars. They're often excellent communicators and writers. They really enjoy public gatherings, the intellectual conversations and challenges. So Kid Rock, Kevin Costner, Mick Jagger have the poet talent, which is curious, where Marilyn Monroe, Mark Wahlberg, and B.B. King have the artist talent. So this goes beyond, but hopefully you kind of get the idea of where that comes from. Metal is that intellectual world. The young earth is the mountain, going to the mountain. But we do need fire for our day to balance it out. So go to spirit. Do an affirmation with spirit, talk to spirit, whatever that is for you. Okay, our options. We have a bone, and I know where that bone came from, so this is awesome. We have a bone, we have moving water, and we have a river. So you have options there, whatever you go with, whatever is resonating with you. But I'm going with the Fae today because it is kind of an otherworldly day. I know I just played with him on Friday, but I kind of like the other world. It just feels good to me. So who went with our moving water there, top to the corner next to the bone? The bone, we can feel it to our bones. Moving water though. So this is great. This is the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. That right there tells its own story, right? So they're part of the She. These are the people, the lords and the ladies of the hills of the Fae, and they dance. All the fairies dance. They love poetry. It's the song and the dance and the rhythms of the earth, the unseen. And they do this to mediate the powerful energies of the singers of the realms to bring that energy into manifestation throughout our world. And they do this for the pure essence of joy, the joy molecules, if you know what those are. But these are the great alchemical arts. It's the dance of life itself. These are the ones who create, nurture, build the worlds and those inhabitants of the worlds. But they're also available as guardians, teachers, and comforters. And when I say inhabitants of the worlds, I'm talking the inhabitants that live in a tree, the inhabitants that live in the waters, the galaxy, like all of the things. And there's sometimes they've been called gods and goddesses, but that really isn't how they think of themselves. They're an elder race. They're the forerunners. They're the ancient ones. And each of them have their own potent magic. And they do these acts through all of life. They're profoundly wise. Their action are always for the highest good of everything involved, all involved. But the fairy who's been kissed by the pixies, I mean, this is love given, love received. It's this metaphorical open heart surgery. And the number one, the one is what we love and the two is what we feel. So when our heart opens up to a feeling, we love it, we feel good inside, then our heart wishes our beliefs. And the moon is in Aries. So this is taking action on a feeling. It really is time to feel great and do that love, bring that into a long pour into your heart chalice. So pixie kisses are not like chocolate, like the well-known Hershey Kisses chocolates. I haven't had one of those in a decade, I think. But the pixies claim they're a whole lot sweeter and they really don't do anything dreadful to our teeth. However, if the pixies have been munching a lot of fairy chocolate, then some of these pixie kisses actually give people freckles. I have a ton of them. I love that. Angel kisses, kissed all over by the angels. But the pixies, they say that there's not too much kissing that can go on. So a fairy kiss is it's a blessing indeed. So really pay attention when you feel a fairy touch on your lips or your cheek or your arms, Pixie kisses, in fact, all of the fae kisses are really to be noticed, to be savored. They are juicy. And if you do notice, you're going to find yourself smiling without meaning to, and just feeling this surge of warmth, and your heart just swells with this love that's beyond our reality, I think. But this fairy is Morna. She is the queen of love, all kinds of love, whether it's brotherly, sibling, sisterly, parental, friendly, conditional or unconditional, or both, could be either or both. So she tells us that it takes a perfect people to have perfect love. But we, imperfect as we all are, may have many loves, each one perfect for who they are and for what we need now. So these loves may not feel perfect. They may not look perfect from the outside. However, they fit us now. So if we don't like them, then we need to change ourselves so that a different kind of perfection fits us. And we move on, right? This happens. That's why relationships end. So here we can see Morna. Her role is the heart surgeon. She's using the power of love to help us open our hearts when we have closed them down, usually out of fear, helping us to expand and become more of what we have the potential to authentically be. And yes, it's true. Having an open heart and being willing to love and be loved, it totally makes us vulnerable to loss and grief. It's the cycle. But Morna assures me, and I absolutely believe her, that once a heart is truly and fully open, even the deepest grief becomes that bittersweet taste like a dark chocolate. And there is no pain that is not balanced by the greater joy of love incarnate. So this is the feeling of giving love. That's what makes us feel so good. What keeps us from enjoying it fully is our desires to own others and to have them constantly prove our importance to them. So this proof is impossible, right? However, it's this kind of unconditional, self-limited love or expectations. That's part of how we learn about authentic, real love. So if you ever hear yourself asking or somebody else saying, do you really love me? Or saying, I don't think you really love me. That right there is the message. That's when we know that the love we are giving or receiving to the other or vice versa is conditional and limited. So Morna, her entire essence, you can see she's just lit up with all those little characters in the background. But she would like to help us to learn to love others without those conditions. Because ironically, when we love others without conditions, we are loving ourselves at a higher octave, which is the frequency of today. But she also would like us to learn to love while still staying centered properly within ourselves, having boundaries, energetic boundaries. So it's important for us not to lose ourselves, and this happens all the time, and others, and let their desire become ours while losing sight of what we need for fulfilling our own lives. Happens all the time. I see this all the time, every time. I'm not kidding. But in the long run, or even in the not so very long run, we all know this generally never works out. The fact that you say that out loud, that right there is spirit talking to us. But we only think we know what others want and need. And sooner or later, we get it disastrously wrong. Like it's kind of projecting. Usually by thinking we know what they ought to need. We are actually all learning about love in this process of learning. We all kind of act as teachers for each other, where we learn. And Ram Dass said, the karma of relationships is the hardest karma that there is. And it doesn't matter if they're intimate or not. It could be siblings, all kinds of relationships that we have, but believe it, Morna really advises it. And this is so true no matter, again, what the relationship is. But for all of that, love in its purest sense is a fast track to realization and enlightenment. And the cute little wild thing at the top is filled with bliss. You can see he looks like a little lion. He's got a great chummy little smile. He's filled with bliss. And his longing is to cuddle its way into enlightenment. So just remember, everyone and everything in the land of the Fae, the fairy, glows its own light, as do we do. And much of that light is the glow of authentic love. And just remembering that it's kind of vitally important, just opening up our hearts more widely to the giving and the receiving of love. That evokes the well-kissed fairy within us. It's like, oh, wow, what can I say here? Love, sweet love, accept it, burnish it up, add to it, and pass it on. It's like streaming it forward. But the presence of the pixie who was kissed by the presence of the fairy who was kissed by the pixies, that was a lot to say. This suggests giving and receiving love and intimacy in any of a wide variety of relationships, possibly more to ourselves, our inner world, and our outer world to be that glow. But she's giving notice that this is a time to open and heal our hearts, different aspects of our life. You know, they may be flowing happily together, but healing separations and hurts from our past and bonding may need to take place where deeper feelings can emerge, and changes for the better usually occur in all aspects of our life, but especially in relationships, which they may be deepening or becoming richer. And you may be experiencing some love therapy for yourself by opening your heart, and new relationships, you know, when one door closes, another one always opens. That's just how the universe works. And, you know, enjoy it. Next we have, who picked the bones? Any bone pickers out there? So bones, that goes to our innate wisdom, into our bones, right? Okay, so this is another great little fairy. This is Penelope the Dreamweaver. Part of the fairy guides and the guardians, the ones who devote their time and energy to directly guiding us as we develop our talents, our gifts, and our own personal natural magic. So these ones assist us to become more of who we already are, exploring our unlimited potentials and transcending those self-imposed limitations often put on ourselves, or fears and doubts and all that. But their jokes tend to be more subtle than the helpline troop. So these are the fairy guides who also help us discover the joys of living more harmoniously with nature and with each other, and also with them. But Penelope the Dreamweaver, this is card number 28. So this is once we heartfelt decide to commit to a feeling, we then manifest by trusting and loving. That's the key to access manifestation, is loving and trusting the creation of what we want to bring into the earthly realm. But this is inspiration, it's magical dreams, it's visions. And her being the weaver of dreams, the bringer of visions, she's this muse of artistic inspiration. So she weaves the tapestries in the mind with threads of light, sound, and color, the higher octave of our higher energetic centers. So when she comes to us in dreams, we waken under this enchantment, and we kind of have a rush for our paints and clays or other forms of expression. It could be writing, words, right? Words carry frequency, vibration. But in this image, you can see that Penelope, she's an inspiration fairy, but we all have each one who's more than willing to help us and assist us. Sometimes, you know, it's grace. Sometimes it's love, joy. It could be anything, really, whatever streams in for you, because it may not be exactly what someone deserves, but just someone lucky enough to have in our lives. Sometimes we don't know what these are, but she plays hard at inspiring us. All of these little inspiration fairies do, just like Penelope. And Penelope, often, she's very pleased with the results of her inspirations. So when I look hopefully in the streams of grace to see what she thinks about me, she kind of just shrugs her shoulders. Then she flashes me a little wicked grin. So I kind of feel the streams and I think it's okay. But these inspirational fairies like their jobs. They love their jobs, actually, but they really get bored when people don't pay attention to them. So they sit around filing their fingernails, maybe biting them, while they think of like troublesome or mischievous thoughts. Sometimes they get really exasperated enough to send us nightmares, and really an attempt to get us to wake up. And even in a divination, I have a tool in there for like the wake up call. But these fairies and their sisters, the fairies of expressions, they all work together as teams, really helping us in our creative endeavors. So the fairies of inspiration, they sparkle dust and special inspirational fairy dust so that we come up with ideas rather similar to fertilizing a plant. And we know where plants are fertilized with, right? So they're sisters, the fairies of expression. They help to give us form to our creativity and manifesting it with our own particular talents. That's kind of the innate message of the 28 of the card. So this is like seeking visions and inspirations. That's the message here. To be aware that they're subtle, but they do require close attention, awareness. This could be fantasies, dreams, daydreams. They're all in places where an inspirational fairy can contact us. Sitting by the river, catching the frequency of the water, a different kind of fae there, but the water fair. So she can also help us pop into like the unannounced in the midst of the most ordinary activities where things come into us, whether, you know, in the bathtub, washing dishes, driving a car, or anywhere else that our mind is half occupied and half running on idle, which my mind does that all the time. So just pay special attention to these unsought inspirations in the moments because they have something wonderful to offer you, but it really is up to us to catch them and bring them into manifest reality. So that is super amazing, I think, right? Okay, so who chose the river? The river stream. You get honesty, which is kind of curious, honesty. He's part of the helpline troop. These are the wee folk, the fae. They are large, they are small. Usually we do see them as gnomes or pixies differently, but they assist us in our day-to-day life. Sometimes they add a little more confusion in an effort to be helpful, which is always the ingredient, right? But these are the fae. Honestly, I love all the fae. What am I saying? But these ones are associated with the elemental realm, all of the elementals, whether it's earth, air, fire, starlight, moonlight. They're full of life. They're full of fun. They really love to play out in the natural world, just practicing their natural magic, even though they're going to meet us everywhere. But honesty is just that, honesty, compassion, tact, even self-deceit. And just look at him, his cute little face there. Oh God, could you doubt for a moment that he sees you just as you are authentically and he loves you anyway? What's curious about him in plant form, which is how we often see him most often, he makes these lovely purple flowers in the spring and later he produces those silvery white circular seed pods. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're like small images of the full moon and the little earth moon seed pods. They really remind us to reflect upon our reactions, our responses, our feelings, and to throw light into our darknesses, to deal honestly with ourselves and also with others. But he comes in other botanical names and gardens, moonwort, satinflower, silver dollar, dollar plant, moneywort. You get the idea. But the thing I love about him today, especially, is on Monday, the moon's day, and today's Monday, we're having a musing Monday. It goes by Lunaria Annua. And so honesty is said to repel the monsters. I don't really have any monsters handy to check this out on, but I certainly can see the metaphorical truth in it. But he's also known as the unshoeing of the horse because of his habit of doing just that, unshoeing horses who tread upon him. He's in the plant world, right? So it's a very fairy thing to do, and who's to blame him getting trampled on? But he's said to have collected over 30 horseshoes from the horses of the Earl of Essex on the White Downs in Devonshire near Treverton. So let that kind of be a lesson to not tread honesty under your foot, right? So honesty is a message. It speaks kind of unsurprisingly of the need for straight dealing and truth and representation. And we really need to be authentically or scrupulously honest here, just making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding or some fuzzy edges, both written and verbal kind of agreements. We need to be completely clear. Water, reconciliation, clarity, and peace. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming, and they need to be tested for the understanding, the comprehension. And even on a personal level, honesty really reminds us not only to be clear in what we're saying and doing, but also in our actions and our speaking. Speak with compassion, be tactful. You know, and sometimes Being brutally honest is not usually true honesty, but somehow it's kind of slanted a little bit against the worst. And dishonesty, even in the name of tact, right? That's not really helpful either. So just balancing on that fine line of loving honesty. It really does take some effort, but it's going to provide those richer rewards. So it's like being honest, humility, idealism, a clarity of mind. Those are just some of the advantages of being honesty. So the messages today are also in line with the cosmic highway. I don't know if you noticed that. So whatever it is, just know your feelings are going to lead you to understand where you do not belong, investing your heart anymore into that, or perhaps where you do. So it really is the law of attraction is in action, but it's based on our heart doing that long pour of love and finding that frequency match, a match to the frequency. So this is ultimately the energetic matchmaking energy of these, all of these. I mean, we got all the goods. So just kind of investigate your feelings about yourself and your future. Feel with your heart where you may or may not belong. You know, I'm all about raising my frequency and my vibration, and I'm good with not having the village full of people that entangle my webs. So searching our feelings for what our heart belongs attracted to or attached to into the future, and what our heart doesn't actually belong attached to or with. So if plans for the future break down today, just consider it to be your best interest. There's magic on the other side of the breakdown, and your feelings are guiding you to a higher state of all the juice, the streams of love, peace, joy, happiness, and the creative potential, and really so much more. So in essence, the frequency of the day is leading us into a higher octave, a greater creative potential in our day-to-day life. You may switch things up. I mean, I'm feeling it myself, and it's a day to go and elevate that heart potential, our greatest love story, the creativity of what that feels like, and feeling gratitude bigger than love itself. So the breakdowns are for our highest good, and offering to the element of fire, having a spirit to spirit conversation. The spirit looks like me. I love that. You know, I can feel, I did wash my hair today, by the way. But all in all, today's a day to dream bigger. We've got Penelope the Dreamweaver. Be aware of the fairy kisses. Our heart's channel, you know, be honest with yourself. Self-love, compassion, all of that is online, along with our sacral channel, peace, our inner knowingness. We've got love, peace, joy, happiness, literally coagulating in the mainstream ingredients of our cosmic soup. So, which then opens us up to a higher dimensional frequency, other dimensions, the multiverses, and so much more. It really is the realm of the Fae as well. So I would affirm that I am releasing all things unloving in my past and opening to a new door of loving myself into my future with streams of joy, peace, love, grace, whatever you are called to. And the world does need more streams of love. I'm just saying that out loud. Go to the mountain, get an otherworldly perspective, connect with a tree in nature, tell the mountain your secrets, what you want to let go of. And as you witness your breakdown of your past and the opening of the new door to that higher perspective, we then begin attracting all the things, people, places, situations, whatever, that are in the same frequency, the same vibration of our new heart space, if that makes sense. So like attracts like on that frequency barometer. And sometimes it's just okay to, let stuff go down the river so something else can stream in. So with that, ashe and blessings to you. I love that. No cup of joe. Isn't he cute though? Like seriously, I can just see him out in those purple flowers, which I visited yesterday. So that's awesome. Okay, ashe, blessings, and I will see you tomorrow on the other side. Where's my cute little ending screen? Oh, I do have the Witcher waitlist. That's what I got. Oh, my little dude. I left him there for you. Ashe.